How do the fastest SpeedCubers in the world solve a Rubik's Cube in seconds? The world record for solving this puzzle is 3.47 seconds. That doesn't sound possible. Let me explain. The method that most SpeedCubers use today is called the CFOT method. Cross, F2L, OLL, and PLL. This can be extremely helpful for improving your SpeedCubing. But soon you might ask yourself, how can Timon and Max average 5 seconds on the Rubik's Cube when they use exactly the same method and techniques as you? In this video, I'm going to be showing you some of the fastest Rubik's Cube solves that have ever been done, and I'm going to reconstruct every solve to show you guys exactly the moves that people are doing on the Rubik's Cube in order to achieve these incredible times. I'm firstly going to look at the 5th fastest solve in the world. This time is held by Patrick Pont, and the time was 4.24 seconds. We'll see what an average SpeedCuber like me can get on this scramble. I'm nowhere near as good as Patrick Pont, so we'll see. Can I do this anywhere close to 4.24 seconds? So I have the scrambled up Rubik's Cube. The green cross might actually be the best cross color, because if I hold it in the front with these two, I can actually just do R and D moves, so it's all going to be like a 2-gen cross. I can just about see my first F2L pair. We'll see what I can get. Ready, set, go. That solve actually isn't that great for me. I have no idea how Patrick Ponce managed to do this scramble in 4.24 seconds. Let's see how he did it. So to get to this scramble, you can scramble up your cube with white on top, green in front, and do as follows. So Patrick Ponce actually started his solve with orange in front and green on top, and I actually started with a different colour, so I decided to go for this very nice 2-gen green cross. However, because Patrick is extremely intelligent and I'm not, he was solving the blue cross. Now, sorry to all of you guys who aren't colour neutral. Maybe if a lot of the fastest cubers are colour neutral, maybe you should be colour neutral too. He does an R move to solve this, and then he does a D move so that these two pieces can both be inserted so that they are in correct relation to each other. So what he does is he does an F and then an R prime. So then every piece is put into correct relation. And what most beginners would actually think in this case is they would probably see, blue cross, we can just align it like that. However, what Patrick managed to see is he could already plan his first F2L pair. He probably saw that in inspection time, which was the orange and yellow, and we can see the edge piece and corner piece. So what Patrick does, he did a U move and a D prime move at the same time, and he just solves it like so into the front. And he's quickly done his first F2L pair. Then he's going to look at his second F2L pair. Wide D move. Then he's going to solve the yellow and red edge piece and corner piece. So in order to solve this F2L pair, he's going to do a U move to pair them up like this. And then he's going to do the trigger RUR prime, which actually pairs them up. So it makes them already as a free move insert. And then he's going to do a Y prime cube rotation in order to make this F2L pair be in the front. He can then just insert it into the front like so. His third pair, he decides to go for the red and white. Patrick Pont knew that he only needed R and U moves to solve this pair. So he took the edge out, and then he did a U2, and then he brought the corner piece back down. However, Patrick Pont is amazing at look ahead, and I don't know if he planned this out beforehand, but when you insert this pair, you'll notice that this pair, the white and orange, they're already going to be set up. He can cancel into the insertion and insert it into the back, and there's all of F2L done. And then for Patrick's last layer, it was pretty easy. Just a one look last layer case into a U move AUF, and the cube is solved. Now we know exactly what Patrick Ponce did on his 4.24 second solve. I'm now going to take a look at the scramble that Felix Zemdeg's got when he solved it in 4.16 seconds. Again, this is the first time I've ever seen this scramble, so we'll see what we can do here. So on this scramble, I'm noticing a 3-move blue cross plus a free F2L pair. That is very, very nice. I'm probably gonna do a really nice cross plus 1. So let's see what sort of a time I can get on this scramble. 8.58, but I actually got a PLL skip. Did Felix get a PLL skip? I don't know if he did, but actually my F2L was really slow, so I'm going to try the scramble one more time, but I actually feel like I could have done a little bit better. 664, no way. The first try I actually did get a mid-8, but still, even 6.64, which might sound like an incredible time, I'm sure Felix Zemdegs did a much better solution than me, probably turned a lot faster than I did, so I guess we'll see what solution Felix Zemdegs did on this scramble. So let's take a look at Felix's 4.16 second solve. So for this scramble, I chose to do the blue because I saw 3 moves and we get a setup F2L pair when we solve it. Felix did the same cross solution as me, but I think the way he finger tricked the cross was a lot better. So he did a U prime, R prime, and then he did wide R prime, which is quite an interesting finger trick. I didn't think of that. Then he just did L prime. It's a nice finger trick, so take advantage of finger tricks if you want to get fast. Now for his first F2L pair, what I probably would have done for this is I probably would have rotated and solved it into the back, but Felix actually did F prime U F, which might not seem like a good finger trick, but it's actually very helpful because it automatically keeps you in the position where you don't need to rotate for your second F2L pair. So what Felix did is he did these two gen into the back, which also pairs up these two, which you can just insert into the back. Then he's just got his last F2L pair. The way he solves it is he does a U, then he rotates and then does a U move. He inserts the corner and then he moves the edge towards the right and then he pairs them up. And here you actually have the option to either insert it like this, or you could insert it with a sledgehammer. Felix already knew that he had to make a sledgehammer to solve these two. So what he did is he actually cancelled into the sledgehammer. However, because Felix is an extremely intelligent cuber and I'm not, he was actually able to notice that he was ready to cancel into a ZBLL algorithm. So instead of doing an F prime, he knew that an F was the first move in order to do the ZBLL. So if you don't know this ZBLL algorithm, it goes as follows: U, R, U prime, R prime, U, R, U2 prime, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime, F prime. Learning some ZBLLs can be very, very helpful. And also the fact that Felix knew he could cancel into the ZBLL, that takes great look ahead in order to see that. That was an incredible solution done by Felix. And we're now going to be taking a look at the third fastest cuber in the world, which is Timon Kolashinsky, who got a time of 4.11 seconds. And I haven't seen the scramble yet, so you can scramble up along and try the scramble for the first time with white on top, green in front. And the scramble goes as follows. I'm probably going to get nowhere near as fast as 4.11 seconds on the Rubik's Cube, but we'll see. Ready, set, go! That was like the worst last layer, but we still get a sub 10. Let's take a look at the third fastest solve in the world. This is a European record held by Timon Kolashinsky, and the time was 4.11 seconds. So scramble goes as follows. So I think Timon also did the orange cross for this scramble, and he notices got a cross pieces here, 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 and here. He did a U move and then a D prime at the same time. And then he did something quite fancy, so he did the L, R, F. It not only like keeps this pair F2L pair preserved, but it also sets up this corner automatically. So after Timon does his R prime, he doesn't just solve his cross like how I probably would have done that. He actually notices this white and green edge piece that can go into the back. So he does a D move, then he inserts this edge into the back, and then he does another D move to align his cross. So that's a very beautiful X cross that Timon managed to find in his solve. The second F2L pair, he went for the blue and yellow, which is the pair that he preserved. So then he just rotated and inserted it into the front. And for his third pair, he notices the yellow and green. So he does a U and then pairs them up and then inserts them into the front. Then instead of rotating and solving the white and blue, he does a wide D prime, which saves the rotation, and then he inserts this pair into the front. But Timon became really fancy in this case, so he noticed a bar over here. If he did it slightly differently, he could get all of his edges oriented. So he did F prime, U prime, F, and that gives him the F2L pair, which he can just insert into the front. And not only did he orientate his edges, he forced himself a last layer skip, which is amazing. And that is how Timon managed to solve a Rubik's Cube in 4.11 seconds. We can now see so many techniques that a lot of these fast cubers are using. However, let's take a look at the second fastest Rubik's Cube solve in history. Roy Hang's 4.06 second solve. So on this scramble, I actually think I'm going to try the green cross because we've got a free pair set up. Let's do my attempt. Ready, set, go. Okay, we get another sub 10, which is pretty nice. Although a 9.28 actually feels quite good for me, I do not know how Roy Hang managed to do this solve in 4 seconds. Like, I don't understand. He nearly did it in less than 4 seconds. So unlike all the other solvers from before, Roy Hang is actually not fully color neutral. He only does white cross and yellow cross. So for this scramble, Roy Hang actually did white cross. And it might look weird because we're not facing the white. Our cross pieces are all the way at the back. But he actually stays in this position at the very start for finger tricks. So when he starts his solve, he does R prime U in order to solve these two. Then he did wide R move. And over here, what I probably would have done is just done R prime F R in order to solve the red. However, because Roy Hang was so clever, he actually figured out a way to cancel into one of his first F2L pairs. So what Roy Hang does is he actually solved this piece, but also notices his first F2L pair, which is going to be the red and blue. He actually does an R2, and then he pairs up the red and blue, and then he finally fixes his cross. And that solution gave him a free pair, which he can just insert into the front. And then for his second F2L pair, he notices the red and green, and he can just pair them up like so, and then insert them into the front. And then he's just got these two, and for these two he actually kind of hesitates, which you don't normally see by fast cubers. He kind of does a bit of like a U prime U before he actually recognizes the case, but once he does recognize the case, he then goes straight into the orange and blue. And finally, he's just got the orange and green, which is the connected pair, so he just does it like inserting the corner into the front, then do a U move, and then connect the pair. Instead of inserting it like normal, he actually cancelled into a sledgehammer, which gave him oriented edges. And you've probably seen that a lot of the cubers before know a lot of ZBLL algorithms, so does Roy Hang. So for this case, this is actually a very easy ZBLL. It's actually the same as the normal OLL case. So for this case, Roy Hang just aligns it like so, and all he needs to do is just rotate up above here and do the algorithm R, U prime, R prime, D, R, U, R prime, D prime. And Roy Hang, having some of the fastest TPS in the world, was able to execute it like that. So yeah, that was the second fastest Rubik's Cube solve in the world. Before I show you the world record, I want to make it clear that in order to become fast at the Rubik's Cube, it can be very helpful if you're using a speed cube. And you're probably wondering, where should you get speed cubes from? The place to go to buy speed cubes is speedcubing.org. Speedcubing.org is the best online store to buy speed cubes like this one here. There's a link in the description down below. And if I were to recommend you a speed cube, I would recommend you get the RS3M 2020 for £10. It's a very reasonably priced cube. You've got magnets and you can adjust the tensions of the cube, and it gets me very similar times to the 11M Pro. You can find many other speed cubes on their store. Just go to speedcubing.org. There's a link in the description, and if you want to use the discount code SpeedyGoneCuber at checkout, you can get 5% off your entire order. Anyway, let's try out the world record scramble. 3.47 seconds. Is it going to be a super easy scramble? I guess we'll see. Oh, I can see a very nice red cross. There's 2 red pieces already solved, the red and green, red and yellow. The other 2 pieces, they're only like a few moves away from being solved. And I've also got a pair that's already set up. Another pair, orange and green. I can plan a double X cross on this scramble, so I guess we'll try it out and see what sort of time I can get. No, it's the absolute worst last layer case. What on earth? My F2L was like so fast. 8.14 is still a brilliant time for me, but I want to try this scramble again because there were like quite a bit of lookups on the last layer. Ready, set, go. Yay, 6.7, sub 7. I knew I could probably get a sub 7 on this scramble. I don't know if I did the exact same solution as Yusheng Du, but clearly if he managed to solve it in 3 seconds, he probably wouldn't have gotten such a bad last layer case. Now this is what you've all been waiting for, the reconstruction of the world record. So for this scramble, I saw a very nice red cross where there's these 2 pieces, and I saw this 3 pairs. I did F prime, and then I solved this red and white piece into the front, and then I did a U and then R2 to solve this one. Now, although that's a great solution, Yusheng Du thought of an incredible solution. Instead of doing it the way I did it, where you solve the white first, he actually managed to make this a double X cross, like not just preserving this pair, making it into a double X cross straight away. So what he did is he actually did the U move to move the blue, R2 to solve it, which still keeps this pair preserved. Then he just did the same thing as like what I did basically, which was to do a U prime, do F prime to preserve this pair. Instead of solving this like that, which is still very fast. So he did L, F prime, U prime to solve this pair while he's solving the cross, and then he does an L prime to finish it off. Would you look at that? Easy 3-move insert for his third F2L pair. All he has to do is just solve it into the front. The rest of the cube is just literally all 2-gen. So his next F2L pair, all he literally has to do is R prime, U, R, and then he just got to insert them into the back. And while he was doing that, I assume he probably was looking ahead towards the OLL. All he literally had to do was just do U and then just do an anti-soon. And then he got a PLL skip, and the cube was solved in 3.47 seconds. Twisting plastic for 3.47 seconds is just mind-blowing. The first time I tried this scramble, I did not see that double X cross, I just did an X cross, but I still preserved the pair. You know what, if Yusheng Du executed this scramble in 3.47 seconds, I wonder how quick I will be able to solve this scramble using the exact same solution as the world record holder. 4.05. You know, that's still a really good solve. Like, it would actually be the second fastest solve in the world if that was at a competition. But I guess I'm not good enough compared to Yusheng Du. Like, how did he execute it in 3 seconds? So let me try this again. 3.99. I guess I can't finger trick the scramble quick enough compared to the world record holder. Even when I use the same solution as him, I can't finger trick it as quickly. So that is how the world record was done. Wow, that was very helpful. Analysed all the faster SpeedCubers solves and seen what their solutions are. Honestly, I think there's a lot we can learn from their solves, because a lot of those 5 fastest solves in the world, they used a mixture of ZBLL, but also I didn't realise like how many like F2L techniques they used. Like so many like different types of X crosses. Like I always thought that F2L solutions wasn't the most important thing, and I thought is mostly to do with look ahead. From looking at the reconstructions of solved, it's very helpful that you can make sure that your F2L pairs are solved as quickly as possible. And also like ZBLL is important, but probably not until you're very advanced. But for me personally, knowing all these solutions gives me a much better idea on how these people can solve the cube in so little seconds. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you learned some new Rubik's Cube tips, and I'll see you all in the next one. Happy cubing!